chief and his angels. It is an organized army that has been organized to come against the people of God. We are in a wrestling match. We are in a conflict. This is hand to hand and foot to foot in your face warfare. The spiritual enemies, they have rankings and they have assignments. And you have to know, my saints and friends, that there are some demons that is assigned to you. There are some demons that are watching you. There are some demons, they have a notebook and they're writing intel about you because there is a plan and a plot against you. But I thank my God today that God is greater than any plot and any plan of the enemy. Let us make this distinction early on in the message, that there is a difference between deliverance and spiritual warfare. For when we talk about deliverance, we're talking about somebody that is dealing with a demonic bondage or a stronghold, and they need to be set free. But when we have spiritual warfare, please listen to this. This is when we learn how to resist the enemy so we won't need deliverance. And if you can learn how to resist the enemies, overcoming and defeating the enemy's lies of deception, temptations, and accusations, you will not become in a place of bondage. But if I can fight against it while it's coming to me, it will never get a hold of me. So what happens is we have not taught the people of God how to deal with the warfare. So now we are in our churches with a whole lot of deliverance. But if I can teach you how to fight against the enemy's deceptions, temptations, and accusations, we wouldn't need so much deliverance. Help me talk just a little while. So we got to understand that in the spirit realm, there are kingdoms. Kingdoms, what is this? It is jurisdictions of evil with a specific purpose and intent. Let me, I must give attention to this, that the enemy, he's an organized rascal. He's not just coming at you haphazardly, but he comes against us with a strategy. So just like the enemy has a strategy, we must have a counter strategy that we, Lord have mercy, we must know that the word of God, it is the sword that can cut away anything that the enemy is trying to do to us. And the word of God is our counter strategy. So when you're saved, you cannot just come to church, but you have to know the word of God. You cannot just gather, but you have to read the word. You have to study the word. You have to eat the word. So when the enemy comes against you, you can pull out your sword. So you got to know this, my saints and friends. This particular text that Paul is writing to the church of Ephesus, he is giving them intel that they would be prepared to fight the enemy. When we gather, I love that we celebrate, but then there's a time of equipping, because you got to understand that the reason I celebrate is because I'm equipped. There is no victory if you're really not equipped, because you got to understand the church cannot be just a club that we come together to get our groove. He says principalities.